Bill O'Reilly said it last hour during his morning update that comes on at about 7:15 in the morning every morning here on KCMO 95.7 FM. You follow the Trump administration, and it's like drinking from the fire hose because it is just happening so fast, all at once, so many things that you're trying to balance and keep up with, and sometimes it's just a whirlwind and you don't know where to start. Now, I'd rather that than the opposite, right? Of following Grandpa every single day, trying to wonder if he's going to show up to work or not.
Come on, man.
So this is much more enjoyable. First off, there's a lot of good things happening. And secondarily, keeps the news cycle moving. How many times can we just sit there and say, hey, there's a senile old guy in the White House who's getting his diaper changed before lunch every day? I mean, it's funny, but it runs its course after a while. So yesterday you had a really good thing that the Trump administration announced, and then this idea that was floated out there that I am in no way a fan of. Let's start with the good. Here is Caroline Leavitt. She's the White House spokesperson, and she said, hey, the days of kicking the can down the road on student loans is over.
In other news, the Trump administration has announced we will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion, but fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans? The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers' tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple.
What a novel concept. That's what I'm talking about. Caroline Leavitt. So there's about 5 million Americans who will be impacted by this, and they are set to begin those collections starting on May 5th. This will be the first time since student loan payments were paused during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. We're going back 5 years. The Education Department will collect debts from borrowers who had defaulted, which means they hadn't paid their debts for around 9 months or 270 days before the pandemic. So this is what Caroline Leavitt was announcing yesterday. She says there's $1.6 trillion in outstanding federal student loan debts, and right now only 4 in 10 borrowers have any kind of a repayment plan on this. And as she noted here, we will do involuntary collections, wages potentially getting garnished, tax refunds. They are going to figure out ways to get the money back. She says we will not transfer the debt to others. We're not going to transfer the debt to blue-collar workers who didn't go to college, for people to study basket weaving or transgender theory, and now, can't figure out how to pay back their 6 figures in debt. And we're not going to ask those who paid back their loans to basically subsidize those who choose not to. Those days are over. And I cannot support that enough. Now, trust me, when this begins, and I know, national media and probably local media in Kansas City, the sob stories are coming, right? Oh, little Johnny just had $17 of his wages garnished by the Big Bad administration for his student loans he's not paying back.
I'm trying to work oligarchs into this too, Pete. Yeah. Something about oligarchs here. Don't forget.
Oh, it's coming. This is how Elon Musk is going to get richer, by garnishing wages right. of workers around Kansas City or something like that. He's going to collect, the $37.52 out of your paycheck to pay back student loans, and somehow this is going to be Trump and his billionaire buddies screwing the little guy. No, we're asking you to pay back the loans that you willingly took out. Then there's a bigger picture here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the bigger picture is that we are breaking up the cabal and the monopoly that is these colleges, putting these kids in six figures in debt, turning them into good little socialist commies, and then blaming big bad capitalism for why they can't get the job that they need to pay back the loans for the degree that is completely and utterly worthless. That's the larger picture here that I think the administration is wisely trying to go after. And it will not happen overnight, but they must stay the course because this will be popular with a large majority of the American people.
I'm looking forward to the mental gymnastics of explaining how Biden could pause the loans, but Trump can't collect.
Yes, that's coming
right?
too.
The president can, but he can't.
I guarantee you, on a serious note, though, there's going to be some douchewad. I don't want to get myself in
Mark
trouble
was too
here.
far from the button. Good
I know.
job there on self-editing.
I noticed that Mark's hand was not close enough for that. There's going to be some, so I just made up a word, douchewad. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some goofball judge that some Democrats are going to try to use to say that Trump can't require people who willingly and knowingly took out federal student loans to pay them back now. I guarantee you this is going to be the latest thing that ends up in court. And they better fight this one tooth and nail because this is not just about getting back the $1.6 trillion that is subsidized by those who didn't go to college. It's also about the broader picture here of saying to these colleges, you know what, if you think it's so valuable for a kid to spend $100,000 or more a year on a worthless degree, you back the loan. The federal government has got to get out of this business as quickly as possible as well.
Yeah, the president can't undo what the president did, right? And that's what the argument's going to be.
And Trump's the one who paused him the first time around in 2020 during COVID. That is exactly right. So that is outstanding. I cannot wait to see that kick back into full gear because, trust me, I can already predict where the media is going to go with it, but they've got to stay the course on it as well. Now, the not so good. This was floated yesterday by the Trump administration that the president has endorsed giving new mothers a financial reward, considering handing out up to $5,000 per delivery of a baby to reverse the decline in U.S. birth rates. This is an awful idea. Absolutely terrible idea. Trump said yesterday in the Oval Office, sounds like a good idea to me. No, it's not. Hey, listen, even Babe Ruth struck out once in a while, okay? Not a good idea. Unless there is some strings attached to, a married couple, the last thing that we need is people having babies and being incentivized by a $5,000 check. If you are on the fence about having a child and a $5,000 check tips you over the edge, you are having a child for all the wrong reasons.
Typical government program. We're starting in the hole when you take in Elon Musk and Nick Cannon into account on this. We're already down quite a bit. So,
between all of us, John, myself, and Mark, we've got 8 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
2,
got
3, 3
grandkids. Yeah.
Yes, and John's got a boatload
total,
of grandkids.
Yep.
At no point did any of us ever think to ourselves, I don't know about this one, but if there's $5,000 on the line, I just might do it.
Have another drink, honey. I'm feeling.
Although if that drink costs you $10, you're down to $4,990. So watch out there. You're eating into those profits already. Don't go down this road. Don't do it. China's trying to do this right now as well. They're saying, hey, we're going to provide free daycare, free milk. We got all. No, you've got the problem right now with our birth rate is cultural. People can scream about daycare and I can't buy a house and I can't do. We have cultural rot that has resulted in people not wanting to have babies. You've got half the country, and I'm exaggerating a bit, But you do have a percentage of the country here that is like, I can't bring a kid into this world. Oh gosh, climate change, we're all going to die. I couldn't.
Afford.
Yeah, we can't do that. Kids are bad for, the ozone layer. Those little things, no way.
Children are a crime against humanity.
Yeah. That is where a larger percentage than, frankly, I care to admit, of younger people are at today. And that doesn't get fixed with a $5,000 check, okay? If you fix the cultural crisis that the country currently finds itself in, and yes, you also fix, through good economic policies, some of the other problems that do exist. You create lower barriers to entry for, let's say, housing. In particular, single-family housing, which there's still a major crunch on right now. That encourages people to have upward mobility, get out of renting, buying homes, then moving up in home. That allows you to theoretically have more children. Like, those are the things that are going to create families and allow those families to want to grow, right? Not cutting $5,000 one-time checks to mothers when they have a baby. That doesn't accomplish anything. You are putting a Band-Aid on a massive wound. And it's not even a real Band-Aid. It's like the little princess Band-Aids that my girls use when they have like the smallest scrape I've ever seen. I'm like, where's this scrape you're telling me about? I don't even see it. Fine, go put a Band-Aid on it. I'm not going to argue with you. All right, like, they're trying to put that little princess Band-Aid on a massive wound, and it will accomplish absolutely nothing. And in fact, what will result in is people having children for the absolute wrong reasons, and frankly, people who probably don't have business having kids or more kids. Because if that's your motivation, man, you are in the wrong game right now. You are way out of your element, and you are way out of your lane. If that's the thing that will tip you into having a baby, a one-time $5,000 check.
A one-time $5,000 payment is different than having a $5,000 tax credit every April.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what you get right now. A tax credit on an annual basis. But also, like, who even thinks about that? I mean, it's nice. Now, Mark, you kind of had the little oops moment there with the little one, but was your first reaction, well, at least I get another tax credit?
After the fact, after the first April.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't like you found out you were pregnant after not having a baby for, 7-8 years?
Yeah.
Being like, you know what, at least the tax credit's coming.
Yeah, no, that wasn't the first thought.
Thank you.
Or second or third.
Or third, or probably top 100.
There was no incentive for procreation back in my day. We had the drive-in movies. I think this is all about the drive-ins going away.
What's that? What's a drive-in movie? Oh, that's well done.